All right, big welcome you guys to September's 400 Club call. I am really excited and honored for you to be on the line. Please feel free to ask any questions in the chat. And after Tannis and I get done chatting a bit, we'll go through any questions that you have. So our guest for this afternoon's 400 Club call is none other than Presidential Diamond, Tannis, and is it Goulet? Is that right?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
She is a rock star from Canada, and even at a Ruby level, her leader identified her as being someone to watch out for. So, Tannis, why don't you start with sharing with us a bit about your story, how you found it works, all that good stuff, and we will go from there.
Okay, awesome. Thanks, Denise. Well, hello, everybody. I'm so excited to be here, and sorry about yesterday. But yeah, you know what? I started with It Works after watching someone for over a year on Facebook, just this girl that I knew. And I just watched and watched and watched, and I kept seeing all this excitement about this business. I was super skeptical, but I just was really intrigued, and I just was excited for her, and I was happy for her and her family. And I saw how, she went from barely, not getting ahead in life to like all these great things were happening, these bonuses and, retiring her husband and all this success. So I was super excited. So a little bit about me. My husband and I were very much paycheck to paycheck. In Canada, you get a year for mat leave. So what had happened was I went on mat leave and I didn't want to go back. During that time, being on mat leave, you don't get your full pay. So it's really not that great. So you're home with your baby for a year, but it's really not great pay wise, right? So I halfway through, coming up actually to the end of my mat leave, my husband lost his job actually. And, that was really not good, but my husband's the type, he got a job right away. But I was sick and tired of being sick and tired. I was depressed. I was lost. I didn't know what I wanted to do. And I decided that, I kept watching this girl and I told my husband, I said, I really want to try this like crazy wrap business. I knew nothing about it. And I wanted more for my family. I was sick of never getting ahead. I didn't want to go back to my job. And, I was making someone else very wealthy at my old job. And you know what? I love my job, but once you start getting a family and you're a mom or a future family, you start thinking more about your future. So I told my husband I was going to join, and he's like, okay, like he wasn't super excited about it. And he just didn't understand. And he wanted to see the money happen right away, right? I think a lot of people join, businesses or certain things and they expect success to happen right away, right? So I joined. I really couldn't afford all these extra products and everything, but my dad was like, okay, if you're going to do this, you need to get the booster kit. You need to do this right. And I hadn't tried any of the products. So I was super excited to just try everything. So I joined, and I actually didn't end up joining that girl that I saw on Facebook because she was in the States, and I just ended up joining with someone from my hometown. And that girl, great girl, but she didn't really work the business, right? So I knew I had to connect with people above her because I had no idea what I was doing. These girls had told me to get to conference. I really couldn't afford to do that. I got on a plane. I used my mom's air miles. I roomed with girls I didn't know because getting to events is everything. I got there, literally, I had a couple customers. I was so like not scared being there, but I was very intimidated. I got there and I was by myself. All these girls were with all their teams. And so I went there and I sat in the back and I just watched all these people up on stage and I was just blown away. Hey, Tara. And you know what? I came out of there with such a fire in my belly and I was like, oh my gosh, like this is it. I was so excited. I didn't even know how to chart to Ruby or anything because I had literally just joined. So I got home and I was like, okay, this is happening. I was so excited. I was telling everybody where I was going. I was, meeting up with people. I was calling people. I was doing parties. I was just so excited to share with everyone. And I still didn't really know what I was doing, but I was excited and wanting to learn more.
So, I have a quick question, Tannis.
Yeah.
What were you excited about? What made you be excited?
I was excited with the vision of the company because at this time I didn't really know much about It Works. I had joined. I didn't understand about the culture and the family and, just how we're just one big family, and I was so excited to see just people up on stage that were so real and normal, and then a CEO and corporate team that just like, really show that they cared, and I had never done anything like this before, right? So I think I was just so excited to just see normal people up there that were just doing amazing things, and they had all different stories. So it didn't matter if you were a single mom or you came from corporate America, or, you had, maybe a really bad past, right? So I think a lot of the stories just was like, wow, I mean, I could do this. So I got back and I was just ready. I was like, I'm going diamond. I'm getting that $10,000 bonus. So I got back and I actually, unfortunately, had a really bad accident. But I just kept going. I actually had a really bad head injury, and I was supposed to stay off my phone, the computer, everything. But honestly, when someone tells me to stop and not do something, I want to keep doing it more. And I was so fired up to change my family's life, because we really needed this financially. And I really needed it for me too, because I was really lost. And, I knew I'm the type of person, I am a very driven person, but I was trying to find out what my purpose was, So a couple months later, I went diamond, and I tell my team this, like, getting to diamond, once you can go ruby and then diamond, you can just keep going, right? So, and at that time, I still really didn't know exactly what I was doing, but all I was doing is sharing my excitement and telling people about, the business opportunity, the products, and, just being real with people, just being people's friend. I was just being, thoughtful and excited. And, a lot of people ignored me. A lot of people, maybe didn't say nice things because they just didn't understand. And it bothered me, right? But actually, it actually kind of fueled me and got me more excited. So I got to diamond, and I talk a lot about this with my team, because I got to diamond and then people started quitting. And I was like, what am I doing? Am I doing something wrong? Like, what's happening? I just assumed that everyone was joining and they wanted to be, how I was feeling. They wanted to go, all the way to the top, right? So, and at the time, my biggest goal was to go triple diamond. I was like, that's exciting. I mean, I could retire my husband. This could be so, life-changing for my family. And it's not that I didn't believe I could go presidential, ambassador, black diamond. I just didn't get that far yet, right? So after diamond, it was a struggle. And it was like August, September, 2 years ago. And I just, I was having a really hard time, and I thought about quitting for like a little second, right? Because I was so upset that everyone was quitting. And I had girls on my team that literally just had a bad week and they just threw in the towel. And I really didn't know, how to be a leader yet. I didn't really know what to do to try and help them. And I always just thought, if I was there for them, they would just keep going, right? But as soon as you start learning that not everybody is going to come in, I imagine if everybody joined and they all wanted to go ambassador, I mean, that would be great. We'd all be where Denise is, right? But, at the end of the day, the people who do well are the people who really see the big picture, right? Not the short-term goal, but the big long-term goal, right? So as soon as that breaking point where I got so low, I was like, okay, I snapped out of it. Even my husband was like, oh, well, maybe maybe you can still do this, but maybe, it's not, like, he was trying to be nice, right? So I just kept going. I was like, okay, I need to go double diamond now. Even though my diamond was kind of falling apart, I just kept going. I was able to still keep going and maintaining my diamond by working and bringing new people into my business. And I thought, okay, I need to find people like me. I need to find people that want this too. These girls obviously don't want it, and that's fine. And looking back at some of these girls, they could have done so well of this, and maybe they'll come back into the business. Who knows? So never give up on people. That's one thing I will always say. I do not give up on people. If they give up, I let them go. But I'm really, really big on that. Don't give up on people, because people are going through things. We're all going through stuff. So diamond to double, I really had to grow as a person. I was really getting into personal development. I was like so focused on more of what I wanted, right? So I basically went from rock bottom to like, no, keep going. I'm going to keep going. So I remember right before double diamond, we were sitting in a restaurant. My husband was getting mad because I was always on my cell phone. And I know a lot of people say this, that their spouses get upset that they're always busy or on the phone or at meetings or doing parties. But he got mad at me and he's like, oh, you're always on your phone. Like, what are you doing? And he was getting really annoyed. And I looked at him. I wasn't very nice. I said, listen, I'm getting a $30,000 bonus this month. You're going to shut it. And this is happening. And he was like, whoa. So that month I had to make it happen. Unfortunately, I couldn't go to conference that year. I watched on pay-per-view because I couldn't fly because of my head. But I was so determined to get that 30,000. I watched on pay-per-view. I sat here at home just watching, and I was like, seeing Denise's speech and the Duns and just Mark, I was so fired up. It was when they had that fight song. And I was like, okay, I'm getting that $30,000 bonus as soon as they announced that. And I got it that month. And then I just kept my business after that, just catapulted. My husband, he got the picture now. He was understanding what I was doing. And yeah, it's been incredible. And, it's hard work. We all know that. I think the biggest thing with new people coming to the business, I'm very honest with them. We want them to know that this is a life-changing opportunity, but it doesn't happen overnight, right? What we have to offer in our compensation plan and our, in our company and our COs and, all our big It Works family is amazing, but you do have to, put your head down and get to work.
You've said several things I want to touch on, Tannis.
Okay.
And what I love is that you really did have to make a decision, and you had to grow through that decision. I wrote down that your income always matches your level of personal development. And you can see that she got to diamond, but then had to grow throughout double. I've heard people say, or I've heard it said that your income matches your mindset. So if you want to grow your income, grow your mindset. Because if you can't have a $30,000 check on a $800 mindset. So growing your mindset and doing personal development throughout this business is really key to growing into leadership, into inspiring, motivating, loving on, feeling confident. When you become a 10, you'll start recruiting 10s, all that kind of stuff. But one thing I'd love for you to expand on is the thought of big picture vision, because I think you're totally, totally right. People don't know what they have their hands on, honestly. Like, that's the battle, is like, people don't have a brain cell for this. We didn't get this taught at school. I didn't have a brain cell for this either. So we have to teach people the power of this industry. Now, of course, they have to be willing to learn. We all know that. But what do you do, Tannis, to help teach big picture, cast vision, and pour belief into your team?
You know what? I like that, Denise, because honestly, I feel like everybody has their story. Everybody joins for a reason. And I always remind people why they started, right? And, I just go into thinking, when anyone's having a bad day, or anyone's, having a tough week or month or whatever, I always instill that in them. Okay, you joined for a reason. And I've gotten actually quite tougher with my team. I think before I was kind of like this super nice Tannis, and I was like, and I'm still nice, don't get me wrong, but I really try and focus on telling people that, listen, the work that you put in now will, will pay off for you years down the road. Because I remember that whole first year in my business was so tough. Like, it's like building a foundation of a house, right? Or, like planting a seed for a tree, right? Like, it doesn't happen right away. You need like that love, and you need to pour into it. You need to grow as a person. You need to just really dig down deep and remember why you're doing this. So I try to always focus on, we do lots of tasks, and we focus on, telling people our story, because there's tons of people out there that need this. And, when you talk about the big picture and that, our compensation plan and where we are going with this company, I don't even think It Works has honestly even scratched the surface, like with these new products and the new countries coming out. Like, I look back now and I think back 2 years ago, and I talked to a lot of my girls at month end, because I know there was like some diamonds and doubles, and, September, they maybe had a tough month, or they were dealing with some personal things. I said, okay, you guys, I share my story with them, right? Because I want them to know that I went from my struggles. People are going to relate to your struggles, right? And I want them to know that, like, I didn't just get to where I was through all like glitters and rainbows, right? So I really share a lot what I went through, so that they know that, they can get to where I am and get to where you are, Denise, and they just have to really dig down deep and remember why they joined. Because what we have is like, I've never seen anything like this. Like, my dad is really into like my business because he's a businessman, and he was supportive when I joined, but he is so like, he had no idea. Like he thought like, okay, I'd make a couple $1,000s a month, which is great. But he had no idea like when I tell him like what a black diamond earns, like what you do and, what you and your husband were before, and, how you got into the business. And it's really incredible because anyone can do this. I mean, anyone can do it, so it's really exciting when you really catch that vision. And that's why getting to events is so important.
Yeah, I love that. Okay, so here's the deal. People do have to grow in their belief. They have to grow on their confidence. They have to grow in belief in the industry, right? It's like we are helping employees become entrepreneurs. You know what I mean? So we have to teach people what this type of business can do. I mean, imagine being one of the first people in Mary Kay.
Exactly.
That's what we have our hands on right now because we've got so much room to grow. But we also have to teach people to believe in themselves. And that's where I love your tasks and sharing their story and developing the inner skills to like flip the switch to be like, I can do this. Because I remember for me, that was the biggest like aha moment I had in my business. I remember telling Cammie like, good for you, girl, but I don't think I can do what you do because you're crazy. You're doing 3 parties a night. You're on the phone, you're doing this and that and that. And once I figured out how I could do this business with my skill set and have it feel good, I realized like, oh, I can do this. And so I say that because there's like the belief in the company, the industry, our products, like the fact that we're debt-free, stable. We've got, because of that, we can do things like $500 shopping sprees and $100 unlimited bonuses and all this new keto line and all these things because we've got freedom, the family, the culture, all of that. But then there's this belief of self, like I can do this. And I think that you're doing a great job of both things. You're casting the vision. You are sharing the It Works story consistently, sharing your story consistently. And that's a reminder to me. I think everyone knows my story, but that's not true. There's new people all the time. And so I need to be going back to my new distributors and making sure that they know my story, the highs, the lows, the ins, the outs, because nothing comes easy. But then you're also giving people a chance to grow. And that's why we say, like, you can certainly give loyal customers and distributors when it makes sense. But if people don't learn the skills and grow in the process, then they're not going to own it and they're not going to feel good about it. I mean, I've built people to Ruby who quit the next month because they didn't feel like them. So you're teaching the skills along the way, which helps people to grow as well. So, and I love when you said that you're being tougher. And I think it's tough love, right? Because
tough love.
Don't know what they don't know. And so you're like, get to conference, get to conference, get to conference. And you're 3 steps ahead. And it's one of those things, like I always say, I can see people 3 steps ahead of where they see themselves. And so my job is to speak to that person that I see. And even if they don't see it yet, they will start to make that movement. So Tan says, no more wishy-washy, Tannis. Yep, it's just that's how it works. You're in or you're out. Let's go.
Yeah. And you know what? I had decided about, because I had a rough couple months and last year was hard, but you know what? Like personally and stuff. But you know what? I came to the point that people are either in or they're out. I can't force someone to get on a Zoom and a training or do a party with them. And you can pour your belief into people, and that's what I always try and do. Like whenever I sign up people or anywhere on my team, I will help anyone. But I would rather help someone who's way down on my downline, who cares and really needs this, than to a friend that I signed up that can't even get on a call, right? So there's going to be people who you really need to pour into them a lot. Because I mean, I've had lots of girls that say to me like, thank you so much for never giving up on me and keep, on me, because we do kind of have to hold hands with people, right? I mean, there are those people that will come in and that maybe they aren't right for it, or maybe they just joined because they wanted to get the $9.99 kit, right? But to spend your time with the people who really get it and they want your help. Because I mean, imagine Denise, imagine if you had to talk to everyone on your team every day. Well, you couldn't do that.
Well, I used to, you know what I mean? And I
I
realized that if I'm going to talk to 8 or 10 people a day for an hour, that's 10 hours a day of not recruiting, not following up with customers, but like coaching and mentoring just 10 people a day. And I realized that it's not my job to herd sheep. You know, it's not my job to be like, come on, please. What I did was then I scheduled a Zoom and I said, if you want to learn how to do this, get on the Zoom. And that, you know, of course people need one-on-one attention and they need to process through things and charting and that kind of stuff. But what I found was working smarter, not harder, allowed momentum to be created.
And it's so true because like exactly what you said, like I will help anyone who needs my help. But I also told my team, like I was actually last week, right before October 1st, I had put up a post on the team page and I said, listen, we are here for you. Your leaders are here for you because we focus a lot on layered leadership on my team. But if you can't get on a Zoom and you can't get on important calls, do not message me after to ask me. I said, you need to respect my time. Like I'm no one's boss. And at the end, I wrote this whole big thing and I wrote the new Tannis. And everyone was like, oh yeah, like, yeah, because they know I'm a big, and I do have a big heart and I'm not going to change that about me. But I also realize to get where I want to go, I want to be tougher with people. So I get them to where they want to go. Right. Mm-hmm. So, and it's really, I think since the middle of August or so, I've really changed that about me because I was getting really kind of run down and I am obsessed with what I do. So I love this, but I also realize that I need to take better care of me and my family so I, you know, can keep moving forward, you know? So that's really important. Even my doctor said, like, I see my doctor regularly just for my head and everything. And, you know, everybody who I talk to about this business, and I talk to everybody about it, they're like amazed by it. You know, like a lot of people have no idea what we do, you know, and the more you just talk about it and excited about it, you know, more people are intrigued and want to know about it. So
one thing that you do really well too, that I think is something to note, is that you're always shouting out your team. Recognition, people will like work for money, they'll die for recognition. And we know that recognition is a huge piece of building that belief in self. And as well as it's like good marketing for them, because if their friends see that they're doing a good job, you know what I mean? It's like that third party recognition where Tannis, you're posting about them and their market is like, oh, she's for real.
Yeah.
A little bit different than if they say it themselves. And so that's just something to think about too, is recognition consistent within your posting schedule? And I'm reminding myself of that because that's where I need an assistant.
Well, it makes it, and yeah, I even say that, like Jay helped me with things, you know, behind the scenes and stuff now. And like, I try and, you know, it's a big thing because without my team, you know, like they are the ones, we all work together. Right. So I like to, you know, recognize my team, the people who deserve it. Right. And I think it's important. I mean, it's nice being appreciated, you know, because we are a family, we are a people business. This team, you know, we say teamwork makes the dream work. And it's true. You can't do this business and get to where Denise is, like doing it all on your own, right? So connecting and growing with your team, I know that is a huge part of my success. And all my leaders, they do the same thing with their team. So it's the whole duplicating it, right? So
tell us about that. How do you layer leadership? How do you teach your leaders to do what you do and not just expect you to do it yourself, like for everyone?
Well, I honestly think for the most part, we have our team pages. We have so many chats. You know, there's lots of girls, even guys, I should say too, that come into this business. So they're the ones that are going to ask for help and that they want all the information. And then there's the ones you kind of want to, I don't pour into everything onto everybody. You know, we try and focus on, I know one of the double diamonds, she started like I have a Ruby Rockstar chat that I started actually, couple months ago. And that's for everybody who's trying to get to Ruby. There's probably like 200 people in that group. So every day I get in there and I talk and I ask everybody what they're doing. And, you know, I give them like a pep talk. And whenever there's any type of negativity or people having a bad day, everybody's kind of in the same boat, right? If people are feeling something, then one girl can kind of step up and help that person. And I think it helps a lot I ask my leaders to be on, the team page, all contributing, and then their team sees that, right? So then that gets, a new girl, Sally, and, Jenny, it gets them excited, and they know they're in like a safe place. They can contribute on the team. So I always say, as soon as you join this business, you're a leader, right? I mean, even if you have no clue what you're doing, because I had no idea what I was doing, right? But the biggest thing is I never want my team to feel how I felt when I joined. And I had other amazing, great leaders. But a lot of times people, like Denise, for example, you don't know like a new person joining right now. You don't know to go message her and invite her onto your team page, right? So when I joined, like Steph and Jackie they didn't know who I was, until I found out who they were and reached up to them, right? So I really try and make our team feel comfortable and like a safe place, but also that we mean business, right? So actually I tell people like who is ready to run. And if people, I've also been taking people off the page in chats. If people aren't working, because I know Denise, you say this, like a team page is a privilege, I feel like not everybody has them, right? Not everybody has a leader that's there to help them and be there for them. I always want my team to know that I'm there for them, but they have to become a leader too and step up and show why they're there, right? So I think just doing little tasks, making everybody feel loved, and asking people to do Zooms and power hours and parties and posting up an inspirational post, and I do contests every month too. And then I do like little tasks, and then I pick winners based on who I think deserves it. And, but I think big contests and stuff, and people, again, like the recognition, right? So it gets people more involved, just on the team page, because I think, team pages and chats are really important, because that's how you stay connected to everybody, and that's how your team will grow.
A couple of things I wrote down. Layered leadership truly is drawing the strengths out of people and giving them a stage where they can grow. People want progress, period. So I know my cousin is super green, and I'd be like, oh my gosh, Amanda, you love compliance. Can you totally do the team on compliance? Can you please organize the files tab on the team page, because I'm so not green. But like identifying what other people's strengths are and then giving them tasks or assignments or roles based on those strengths. And at first, you may feel uncomfortable delegating, but what you'll find is that people want to be included, and sometimes they don't know what to do. And if it's your team page, then they don't want to step on toes or whatever. So, for example, Cammie planned the One Team, One Missions here in Grand Rapids for years and years. And she was like, all right, Denise, you're in charge of balloons. And so every single month, I got the balloons and I brought them, and it was my job, and I knew I'd be missed if I didn't come with my balloons. And now I've delegated that job. But it's important to really watch your leaders and then give them a space where they can be good at what they do, whether it's customer gathering, distributor, social media, expos, Facebook, product knowledge, whatever it is, and then you can help them to grow within that skill. The other thing that you do a lot that I've learned from you, Tannis, is engagement posts on the team page. Like, that blew my mind, but it's so true. Community is the glue for our business, right? It's like that small group in a larger organization. We want people to feel like they're connected to something bigger than themselves. So we got to get people engaged and talking. And so what type of things on your team page do you do that creates engagement?
I talk a lot about, I ask people, I ask every month, like, who's promoting, and I actually have a task going right now, just about, every time someone gets an LC or a DT or plans a party or does a Zoom or does a one-on-one. And I know one of the girls was saying, like, oh, are we supposed to post this every day? And I'm like, yeah, I want you to comment on the thread every single day, because every time it pops up, I'm like, oh, wow, this person's doing this. And it gets everybody kind of like a little healthy competition. You know what I mean? And what else do we do? I'm always asking people about One Team, One Missions, or who's doing a party, or, I'll put up like an inspirational post and people share all their inspirational posts, or I'll ask what's holding you back. Like, what are some of I asked in my Ruby chat yesterday, I believe, I asked them, okay, what's holding some of you back from being consistent. Because I even though I have a huge team, I notice who's not consistent. And then they'll come to me sometimes. They'll be like, oh, why is nothing happening in my business? And I say, well, if you're growing on social media, you need to be consistent and excited every single day. I mean, even if you're growing, doing one-on-ones and wrap parties or whatever you're doing or vendor events, you have to be consistent and excited. Because if you're not consistent and excited and telling people where you're going, no one else is going to be excited. So people who take, like, maybe they post once a week and then they talk to 2 people, it's not enough, right? So you're not really going to get anywhere that way, right? So I talk a lot about, just growing your network or, starting that party or adding more people on Facebook, learning more on Instagram, getting on Zooms. And I mean, we do have lots of Zooms and events and parties and stuff. I know it can get overwhelming. But even if you get on 1 or 2 a week, right? Or do some personal development or get on a power hour and, reach out to your distributors and your customers, just so that you're always doing something. Because when you're always staying plugged in and doing something, you're going to keep staying excited in your business. I don't think I have taken any days off since I joined. Like for sure, like maybe once on social media, I didn't post one day, but I feel like if you're expecting to get those runners in your business, you need to put out what you want back. And as soon as I realized that, it was like an aha moment. I was like, okay, if I want runners, I need to be a runner myself. How can I expect Sally and Jenny to do parties and Zooms and be good leaders if I'm like not around, right? So, I really instill that a lot into the team. And I think the team knows that they can always come to me or their other leaders and talk. I mean, a lot of girls and guys come to me about, real, personal things. And that makes me feel happy because I want them to know this is like a family, right? I take a lot of pride in that because my team, I mean, without them, we wouldn't have this dream, right? So I really try and focus on my team and, helping them grow.
Awesome. 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 So what's your next goal? What's next for you?
Well, it's funny. Once I went triple diamond, I was like, okay, well now I can go presidential and ambassador. And then up until a couple months ago, I honestly, it's not that I didn't think black diamond. It's not that I didn't think it. I just was like, okay, I'll get to ambassador and yeah. And like, I got there. It's good. I'm done. Right. And then, you can start your 2.0 and then I can focus like on my husband's side more. And like, but then I thought, for me to go black diamond, that just means more people on my team are going to promote and change their lives. Right. So my goal is black diamond now. And, I was talking about this a lot because I am not the most organized person, which I am working on, but I have I'm one of those people that has like notes everywhere, but I have books and everything. And I need to write more, I need to stay more organized, but I know it works for me. And so I just kind of go with it. But for me right now, I know that everything I write down, and I'm doing actually a dream board party next week at my house for all my girls like in the city. But I know every single thing I write down, I accomplish it. Like it's just like a thing. I'm very competitive with myself. And I don't compare myself to other people. I mean, we all kind of do, I think a little bit, if you see someone else go ambassador before you and you're happy for them, but it drives me to get there. Right. So, every single time I write something down, I had this big goal to hit a certain amount of income. And when I hit it in July, I was like, oh my gosh. And it wasn't even about the income. It was about like, holy crap, I did it, and, and all that big boom that happened. And then I think about 2 years ago, what my paycheck was, but then I think about everything that I did to get there, So I think what we do is so much fun, but it's even more fun when everyone around you is promoting. So now my goal is black diamond and I know I can do it. And I actually was excited to, do this dream board night because I need to do a new dream board because everything on my old one is checked off basically. So, I think you just have to write down what you want. You have to have your charts out. We had a Zoom the other night on Monday. We had like just our monthly Zoom and we talked about if you don't write your goals down and you're not focusing on your chart, you have no roadmap. Like you can't just say you're going to promote to Ruby, but you don't have it written down how you're going to get there, right? So, I mean, Denise, it would be pretty hard for you to get to black diamond without realizing what you needed to do to get there, right? So I think just
there's no chart for Black Diamond.
Well, that's true. That's true.
It is very interesting. I'll tell you how it works. Yeah.
That's true. I'll need to know.
So here's the deal with Black Diamond, you guys. And Tannis, you do not have to be ambassador to hit Black Diamond. And that's the cool thing, because we were making $25,000, $30,000 a month at triple. It really is, once you've unlocked those leadership level bonuses and create momentum within those new teams, like you can be triple presidential ambassador, doesn't matter, and still make $100,000. It really just, once you've unlocked it and you've created momentum there, crazy things can happen. So I love that. Like, you will promote because your eyes are on helping other people experience success. You have high expectations, high belief, and you know where you're going. And because of that, the people who want to follow will experience success too.
Thank you. And you know what, one thing with what you were just saying, because I was just talking about this with one of my diamonds the other day, when you focus more on helping people and not the paycheck, right? That's when the paycheck comes, right? Because I feel like, like I said, that whole getting diamond to double was so, it was so draining and so like hard, I feel like. But once I got to double and figured it out, like it just kind of clicked, right? And you're going to fail a lot. You're going to figure out what works for you. I know all different girls and guys on my team work their businesses different ways. But what a lot of the people on my team have in common is they're really trying to grow as leaders to help their team, right? Because then that's what their team's going to do, right? So focusing on helping people and the big picture, and then the paycheck comes.
Yeah, I've learned that too. When I add value, when I just like live in my zone and I'm doing what I'm passionate about and I'm doing what I was created to do, the money will come. It just does. And Maud, it will come for you too. Or is it Maudie? I'm not sure. But tell your husband that it's happening. It's happened for me. It's happened to Tannis. It's happened to hundreds of distributors within our organization and beyond, all over the world. And that's the beautiful thing about owning your own business, is that there truly is no glass ceiling. And we just get to, we create it ourselves, which is why we have to redream and push through it and think bigger. And, our heart gets bigger, our mind gets bigger, our like world gets bigger. And we're like, oh my gosh, there's so much more out there. And we are just scratching the surface. So any last words of wisdom for anyone on the call? And if you've got any questions, please put them in the chat. Tannis, what would be your last word of wisdom? Maybe I'm going to ask you this question.
Okay.
If you, like, thinking back to when you first got started, what is some advice you would give yourself today?
You know what? Not to take things personally if people quit. Because I know I held on to a lot of that. It still upsets me, right? I don't want to say when people quit. There's going to be a lot of people that join, right? Don't think that everybody is joining and they want to go diamond in that, right? Because a lot of people, maybe they're just not ready yet. So don't take things personally. Plugging in is, if you're not getting on Zooms and calls and events, if you're not getting to events, like, you have to get to events if you want to make a big income. And just, just staying excited and motivated and listening to your leaders and working on yourself. Because if you're not working on yourself and you don't believe in it, no one's going to believe in you, right? So if you have people that are coming into your team, and a lot of people I know need some more love and they need some more belief in them. And I try to do that for people, because I know for me, if I didn't need this so bad when I joined, and I didn't really have, the support until I reached up to my uplines, I probably would have quit, because I just had no idea what I was doing. So get your team involved, be involved with your team, and lead from the front, So if you're leading from the front, your team's going to follow you. Not all of them. It's okay. As Denise said, you can't, what'd you say about the herd sheep? Yeah, you can't, right? All you can do is lead by example and, just focus on what you want, and remind your team, ask them what their goals are. Ask them to, another thing I did the other day is I told all the, the people on my team, I made a little contest, and I said, I want you to share your stories and put a selfie or a picture on your page, tag your upline, and then post here once you've done it. And it really opened everybody up, and everybody saw everybody's stories. And they thought it was really cool, right? Because I mean, this, there's a lot of people who are really struggling and hurting. And I know I was one of those people, and I still have my struggles, but like just everybody being there for each other and really working together. I mean, you really, I couldn't tell you how many girls and guys I cry with, and, we laugh with, and we've accomplished, and people I never knew before. Like, I'm looking at, Tanya and like Stella. I mean, I didn't know them before this business. They came in through other people. So it's really cool how some of my closest friends in the business are people I didn't even know before. So I just decide that you're doing this. And like you said, Denise, like it's the decision, right? And then once you make that decision that you want to go diamond, or you want to go ambassador or black diamond or whatever it is, make a plan and just get to work and be consistent.
Awesome. Yeah, a couple notes I wrote down. 3, if you're not providing recognition, creating revenue, or working on retention, then it's probably a waste of time. So think about that.
Yeah.
Recognition, revenue, and retention are the 3 R's in terms of time management. Like, what are you spending your time doing? Layering leadership by highlighting people's gifts and skills and giving them a space to grow. Engagement posts, stories, getting like the cross team, getting to know each other so they feel like they're a part of something bigger than themselves as well. Sharing your own story, so that way people continue to get to know you, and it creates a safe place within the team pages and the team communities. And then deciding what you want, and then also deciding that you're a finisher. And I think a lot of people start things, not many finish, which is why there's a 1 to 3% in the world, right? Decide that you're a finisher, and not everybody is, and that's okay, but you are. And so you are going to do what it takes to cross your own finish line. And then as you add value, you pour into others, you live in your own gifts, the money will come. So thank you guys so much for being on. Thank you, Tannis, for being on. I'm so stinking proud of you.
Thank you.
Created a name for yourself within It Works. Your team has created a name for themselves, and I know that this is just the beginning, because international is blowing up. The new products. I mean, really,
I'm so
kind
excited.
of like a clean slate right now. Like the keto products could be a company in its own. You know what I mean?
I'm so excited.
So you guys have access to them in the next few months. It really is something to be excited about. So.
Can I say one more thing, Denise?
Oh, sure. Yeah.
One thing I will say is to have an accountability partner. A lot of the girls are doing that. And it can be a sideline, right? I know some of the girls on here that I'm looking at, they have them. And I mean, I have a couple close presidential friends that I met in Spain, and like, and another thing that was really cool, and you talked about, like, it was so cool when I went to Spain, and like Mark and Cindy and like Kinsey, they all knew me, and they were like hugging me. And it's just like, that's not normal. Like, that's not like, they're so genuinely, like Cindy, I think is like one of my favorite people. Like, I just love her, like, and Albert, and like, they're all just, I've met Cammie briefly once in the airport. I haven't really met her, but like, they're just such amazing people. Like, I never would have thought I would be on a Zoom with you, Denise, and like, consider you, a great friend, and just like being there for my team. Because when I saw you on stage, like, 2.5 years ago, I was like, oh my God, like these black diamonds, it's so crazy, right? But like, anyone can do this. And I just think you really dig down deep, and you know what you want, you just make it happen.
Awesome. Well, thank you guys so much for plugging in, and thank you, Tannis, for being on. We're proud of you, and we cannot wait to see everybody at conference. Tickets come on sale on the 16th, and from what I've heard, you guys, they're going to give us the whole itinerary when tickets come out, and there are going to be some crazy people to meet, some experiences to have. It's going to be like a whole nother level type of conference. It's not just going to be stage time and like listening in the audience. There's going to be some really cool things that we're going to get to do. And all I know is that I like to win. So like, I don't even know, it could be like a can of energy, but if someone says, do this and you'll win, I'm like, doing it. So whatever they put out, I am just excited to participate and be a part of it too. And the things I know are like seriously once in a lifetime things. So be there.
So
and make sure your team is too. So thank you guys again. Love you.
Thanks so much. Bye, Denise. Bye, guys.